Well, hello guys. I've just had another debate, so I'll record that for you now, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you're all well, and I'll speak to you at the end again.
Hello.
Hello, Hatun. Hello, Anthony. How are you?
Hello.
Hello, sir. Who are you? Are you Muslim? Are you Christian? Are you?
I'm Christian, but you would call me heretic probably because I
Oh,
did reject the Trinity. So
Yeah,
okay.
you are
Yeah, yeah,
heretic.
you're a heretic.
You are heretic. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
next,
Doesn't mean we can't be friends.
next,
I,
next,
I,
introduce yourself as heretic. That will be kind of easier to deal with things. So, what is wrong with you?
well, nothing's wrong with me. But
If you are heretic, something is.
Isaiah 9:6 was mentioned earlier about the
Yeah,
Prince of
great
Peace.
text, man. Can't think of
It
something
is
worse
brilliant,
for
brilliant.
modalism.
So what I was going to say is,
Uh,
could we look at Hebrews
Mr.
7,
Heretic,
please?
so just a second, Mr. Heretic, can you make sure you are not like very close to mic? Move yourself a little
Yeah.
bit farther from the mic.
I've moved my mic a little bit further away. It's
Yeah.
my headset, so
Okay. So like however that works, like your sound was very, very close to the thing.
okay. Well, hopefully I'm quieter now, but otherwise I can't.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Heretic.
All right. So thank you for calling me Mr. Heretic. It's very polite of you to do that. It's a great way to start the conversation, but we'll carry on anyway. So could we get for Hebrews 7, please? If we look at Hebrews 7, 1 to 3,
Mhm.
we get the identification of somebody called the King of Peace. So in Isaiah 9:6, the Prince of Peace is identified. And in Hebrews 7, the King of Peace is identified. So I'm wanting to talk to you about the relationship between the king and the prince.
What do you think a king is before he becomes a king?
Well, the king is the father of the prince, no?
Well, until the prince becomes king.
But that's based upon the father's death, right? So the king has to die for
Or
prince
the
to
prince's
become...
succession to the throne.
Okay, so who is the king and who is the prince?
It depends on the context.
So do you want to pull the verse up and we'll have a look at the context, or we'll try and work out who the king is and who the prince is?
Which context are you talking about? Which verse?
Just relate. Well, verse 7:2 is Hebrews 7:2, where
Oh, okay.
Melchizedek is called the King of Peace, isn't he?
So in Hebrews 7.
Okay. So
Hebrews 7, yeah,
chapter 7 and Isaiah chapter 9, right?
that's it. Yep.
Okay. Both of them are on the screen, Anthony. If you wanna.
Yeah. No, I'm familiar with the text.
Right. So at the end of Hebrews 7:2, it says that the second title is the King of Peace.
Mm-hmm.
And so the King of Peace, surely this has to be the father of the Prince of Peace, no?
Not in this context. Where's the Prince of Peace in this context?
Well, the Bible is the whole context, isn't it? Is there any other Prince of
the Bible's
Peace?
the whole context. Yeah. Okay, so if you want to say the Bible's the whole context, David is called king, so then he must be the King of Peace. And I think you understand what I'm saying when I say context.
Yeah, so
In
Jesus
Hebrews 7, it's talking about Melchizedek. That's if you want to talk about what the context is.
Yeah.
If it's broader than Hebrews 7,
Who is Melchizedek?
Genesis 14. And there's nothing in view in those texts about someone else called the prince.
Okay, so in verse 3 of Hebrews 7, it says that Melchizedek is without mother and without father or mother, has no genealogy, has neither beginning of days or end of life. And in the translation that I read, it says, but made like unto the Son of God. He continues a priest continually, forever.
Mm-hmm.
So Melchizedek resembles the Son of God, yet he is the king. Jesus is the prince. Jesus said that my Father is greater than I. And so I'm trying to ask you who the king is.
What you're trying to do is splice together a bunch of verses that don't have direct bearing on each other. So in Genesis 14, when it talks about the king of Salem, Melchizedek, there's nothing in view there about a prince. And in Hebrews 7, there's nothing in view about a prince.
Of course there wouldn't be.
You're
wouldn't expect
smuggling those two things into these texts. What's going on in Hebrews 7 is the author is engaging in a typological deduction with respect to the Lord Jesus Christ. He's pointing out that Melchizedek, by virtue of the Spirit not saying anything, as you would expect of a priest, about his ancestry, he becomes a fitting type of the Lord Jesus Christ. That's why it says made like unto the Son of God. It doesn't say he is the Son of God, made like unto him.
Yes.
So here it's pointing to the fact that he becomes a image of the eternity of the Son, without father or mother, without genealogy, with having neither beginning of days nor end of life. So there's nothing about that entails modalism. And by the way, if you speaking of context, if we look at the context of Hebrews, here's how the book of Hebrews begins. God, after he spoke long ago to the fathers in the prophets, in many portions and in many ways, in these last days has spoken to us in his Son.
Yeah, last days.
Heir of all things, through whom also he made the world. So the Son is the one through whom God made the world, and through whom he has spoken to us in these last days. So
right.
The Father is not the Son.
So the Son is the Prince of Peace in Isaiah 9:6, right?
The Father is not the Son, is what.
So the Son is the Prince of Peace in the Isaiah 9:6, right?
Yeah, different context.
Right. So if Isaiah is the Prince of Peace, then who is the King of Peace? The king has to be, because Jesus
playing games and only fooling yourself.
Jesus
in
is in the
9:6, a different context. It uses the imagery of him as a Prince of Peace. That isn't justification for you to go to another text and say, "Oh, it's talking about King of Peace here, so we must smuggle in this other title, Prince of Peace, and use it here."
I'm just wondering, guys, is there anywhere else in the Bible, is anybody else called the Prince of Peace? And is anybody else called the King of Peace? He's saying about context and stuff, but is my question not really simple? If the Bible only identifies one Prince of Peace, and the Bible only identifies one King of Peace, if he is using Isaiah 9:6 with the previous caller, which I haven't recorded, if he's using Isaiah 9:6 to show that the child Jesus is the Prince of Peace, then why can't he answer me who the King of Peace is? He's evading.
Jesus is called King or Prince depending on the context. It's not justification for saying, in one context, the Father is the King of Peace, and then, we turn around. You're just playing a game and only tricking yourself.
No, Anthony. The Bible, it only identifies one Prince of Peace, and it only identifies one King of Peace. So where's it
ever called the Father the Prince of Peace?
It doesn't, because the Father's Melchizedek, the King. The Father is not called the Prince of Peace.
The Father's Melchizedek?
Yes, the King.
Why is it here made like unto the Son of God?
Because the Father took on flesh,
or of the Son.
Yahweh took on flesh, and so when Yahweh took on flesh, he was made like unto the Son of God.
Yahweh took on flesh. The Word of Yahweh, who is himself one with him, took on flesh. It never says the Father took on flesh.
So, Anthony, when God said in the beginning, "Let there be light," he created by his
let
word.
Us make man. That's right.
And then the verse after that, it says, "He made man in his image."
Thrice. It says it thrice. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. In the image of God, he created them.
Okay, so are we created in the image of one being and three persons?
Into existence, spoke in a plurality. And you're trying to negate the plurality.
So are you a polarity?
I'm not God. But
you're made in God's likeness, though, aren't you? You're made in God's image and likeness, or not?
The human race encompasses a plurality, and it's the human race that's in view there. It says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. The male and the female, he created them. So man in Genesis 1 is male and female. It refers to the race of men.
I mean, it doesn't say that, but you can assert that.
I just quoted it to you verbatim. It does
Well, it
say
says he formed man from the dust. It doesn't say that he created mankind. It says he formed man.
Let me read it to you again. Okay. Genesis 1:26.
It's kind of a weak argument I made there, because by forming man, you have formed the human race and humanity. My point was that I think Anthony was trying to give polarity to the creation of man by virtue of creating male and female or something. And I think he was trying to generalize the terms, that the likeness, like mankind or something, rather than on an individual level, that on a because if I was talking individually about being made in God's image and likeness, and so then he's trying to say, well, it's not just that one man is made in God's image, it's that humanity as a plural are like the plural of God. But that's an assertion.
6 says, let us make man. And then you appeal to the verse that follows. Here's what it says. God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. The man here is...
I should have added as well that that Eve was then formed out of Adam's rib later. And so at this particular time, there's a little bit of confusion as to how the female was created. This is where we get the stories of Lilith, where Lilith comes from. Because if God did make male and female, and then later made Eve, then where did the first female go? Who's the first female? What's the story behind that? But either way, I'm adamant that when God made Adam as a single person is in the image and likeness of God as a single person. Trinitarians have to give God polarity, and so therefore he's now trying to address this as a polarity of man, not a singular.
Is identified as both the male and the female. It's the same thing that's in view in Genesis. The point is the term Adam is used to refer both to the individual, Adam, and the race that proceeds from him. So God creating man in his image most definitely does involve a plurality of personal subjects.
Nope. It's just a singular God made man in his image. There's no polarity. It's thoughts and emotions that lead to actions, Anthony. That's how we're made. We have thoughts, actions, and emotions. We are mind, body, and spirit.
Where does it say thoughts and emotions? I mean, I'm not denying that man...
Do your thoughts not communicate with your emotions? And do your emotions not communicate with your thoughts?
I'm not denying that man has thoughts and emotions and that these are involved in what it means to be an image bearer. I'm simply pointing out to you that your claim that God being us and our can be denuded of its force, because after all, verse 27 speaks of man, an individual being made, because it doesn't only speak of man, an individual being made, but man, both male and female, being made. Mankind entails man is not a solitary individual. Human beings
what part of the Trinity is the female
creatures? Huh?
What part of the Trinity is the female, and why would God only make two if he's making it in his image and he's three?
Now you're just acting like a Muslim. The point here...
Oh, you need to make sense of it, Anthony.
I don't need to make sense of your weird ideas.
Yeah, if you're saying that we're made in God's image, then you need to be able to explain...
Moses said that.
Okay, so Moses said it. Do you agree with Moses, or do you reject Moses?
I've just had to correct you with Moses.
You've not corrected me, Anthony.
Look, there's people in the chat wanting to know if you're a Mormon.
I'm not a Mormon, no.
Well, you're heading that way.
But what I will tell you, though, is that our Father created by his word. When he said, let there be light,
he created,
then there was just one person, one spirit.
No, you're asserting
God
that.
is one spirit.
He created through the Son.
By his word. The word is the Son, isn't it? In John 1:14, we read that the Word took on flesh.
Yep. And in Hebrews 1, it says he created the worlds through his Son, and he spoke to us in these last days through his Son.
Right, but the Son is his Word, the Logos.
And
Logos
the Word
is the divine
is not
mind.
the Father.
Where does it say the Word is not the Father?
John 1:1, where it talks about the Word.
It says the Word was with God and the Word was God.
That's right, with.
Yeah.
Not
So
was,
so
the
so the
Father.
divine
It says
mind
with God and
Yeah.
was God, and the second occurrence of the term God is an arthros, indicating that he is by nature what God is. He is not who, the one he's with.
So one of the problems I have with the word logos is that Trinitarians,
pick
they
it up
use
with John.
they use a distinct definition in John 1, but then for the whole of the rest of the gospel, they will never retrace logos as defining as son. They only use that definition in chapter 1. Why is that? Why are they inconsistent with their definition?
What if that's what John does?
No, because John doesn't do that. John says that
That's
the
your
Word
claim.
was in the
That's your
beginning,
claim.
and John says
in
that God
John
created by
1:1,
the Word.
John says the Word was with God, pros
Yes.
ton theon, which is always used to refer to one person being with another person. Then he says kai theos ein halagos, which is qualitative, indicating that the Word is by nature what ton theon, the God is, the God that he's with. Later in verse 18, it says, no one has seen God at any time, but God, the only begotten, who's in the bosom of the Father, he has revealed or exegeted him.
Yeah.
This is a inclusio. It's saying that the same one who was with him in the beginning is in the bosom of the Father and is his perfect expression or revelation. So it's John who uses this language in a personal way, and in the rest of the gospel, he has Jesus incarnate speaking. Why would he have to keep using the term logos? Is that the only term he can possibly use to demarcate or distinguish Jesus from the Father?
You see, the thing is, Anthony, is that I've not shown my face on this picture, on this stream.
Well, we're
but
thankful for that, I'm sure. But what's that got to do with it?
You are getting to know me a little bit by my word. What I am speaking to you is revealing something about myself. Our Father, Yahweh, he reveals himself by what he speaks to us. He reveals himself by his
about
word.
John? I mean, you're sharing with us very nice bedtime stories and stuff, but what does John say? John says the Word was with God, pros ton theon, and the Word was God.
Yeah, the divine mind is with God and is God. God couldn't be without the divine mind. That's what logos is.
So God has a
definition of logos is the divine mind.
Is it in a little fishbowl next to him? Is it being preserved in some kind of substance?
Yeah, it's a distinct second person, Anthony, isn't it? The logos is a distinct second person in a bowl beside him that's just with him, and he himself doesn't have a divine mind, does he?
Mr. Heretic, can you please pull yourself together and then listen after you ask your question or make your statement? That will be very beneficial for everyone who is watching. So, thank you. Anthony, go ahead. Sorry, you were...
It's all right. It's all right. Let's leave it. We've been over the King of Peace and the Prince of Peace. You haven't answered. You've utterly failed.
Absolutely have.
I'll see you later.
No, you won't, because we didn't see you now.
I left it there. I've not even actually watched it. Hang on, let me just see if I don't talk about it.
Yeah, well, I will reiterate. So
sorry, he left.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I was going to reiterate as he leaves. This is an example of, I mean, imagine this, right? If I can take something you said, Hatun, a week ago, just from whatever you said, and then wait another month and take another statement, any old statement, and then wait a year and take another statement, just splice those together. Imagine what I could make you say. That's the kind of methodology. Okay, so he's not actually addressing anything I said. The issue of the Prince of Peace and the King of Peace, as I said as I exited, he utterly failed to address it. As far as I'm concerned, he utterly failed anyway. I did not feel that I got a satisfactory answer. He didn't even try telling me that Melchizedek was Shem. Most people, normally, they'll say Melchizedek is Shem. I didn't get that. I didn't get told that Melchizedek's the father. He didn't really identify Melchizedek for me at all. So I was asking about the Prince of Peace and the King of Peace, and I got no answer. So there was about 200 people watching at the time I was on. So and hopefully Hatun has got 689,000 subscribers. So hopefully a couple of thousand people at least will end up watching this over the next few days.
and hopefully they will think about it more than Hatun and Anthony did. And I would actually say that I have a lot of respect for Hatun. She has been in England to Speaker's Corner, and she got stabbed by some Muslims that took a disliking to her, and I admire her, even though it's a shame that she was so keen to call me a heretic. I did introduce myself saying I'm a Christian and you will call me heretic, but she was far too happy to call me a heretic for my liking, really. But even so, she's bless her for trying to help the Muslims. So yeah. All right. Anyway, God bless you all, guys. Like and subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you on the next one.